Today I'm going to show you how to make a bike wash station just like this one behind me here. It's a bit different than your conventional method of just hanging the bike up because it's got a spring-loaded arm that sits on top of the seat and holds the bike down. So it's different because it stays on the platform while you wash it as opposed to up in the air. Now this is neither better or worse than just washing your bike in the air, but this is the method I went with. It's a bit different and I like it. So if you're interested, let me show you how it's built. To start this project, I decided on a platform that would be 8 foot long and 6 foot wide. This would give me plenty of room for getting around the bike without feeling like I was going to fall off the edge. The frame is made from 2x6s and I used 4.5-inch lag screws to fasten them together. Once the outer frame was put together, I cut 3 boards at 69 inches and attached them along the inside. These will be for supporting our deck boards later. So what I'm going to do right now is put a board flush with the top of this all the way through the center. So we'll have to cut them up into each section so that it goes straight through. That's going to be for when our decking is on there. The tire is going to sit in between the decking on that board. After marking the center out and cutting each of the boards, you'll find that as soon as you go to fasten the boards, only 2 can be done without coming in from the side. So what I did for the third board was add a small block to the side of the joists, which gave the center board something to attach to. Okay, so we are putting this thing over by the jumps here. I want it kind of up in the woods so it's not sitting out in the middle of the lawn looking all awkward and whatnot. Instead, I figure it can be some sort of like a observation deck slash bike wash station. So I've got it over here next to the big jump, and if I ever get to the point where I'm practicing tricks, people can watch me fail and wreck and do terrible things from the safety of a wash station slash deck observation tower, you know. I moved the frame around until I felt like it was in the right spot. Then I went ahead and marked the dirt with my shovel around all 4 corners of the deck. This will be where we place our support posts, so we'll dig the holes a bit large in case I need to maneuver them later. With the holes dug, I placed the support post in, but I still needed to figure out my height for the platform. For that, I used my old roller module that came from the pump track. This will be how you get on and off the platform, so I figured it would be a good indicator for height. All I did was move it over where I liked it, grabbed a level, and marked the same height on a nearby post. Using the 4.5-inch lag bolts again, I attached our frame to the support post. This one post had the correct height, so all you had to do was level the rest of the deck with that one post. Now, you could set the support posts first and then build your frame onto them. This way you avoid having to lift an entire frame up, but I wasn't sure how large I wanted my frame to be, so I had to build that first. Anyway, if you do it like I did, make sure to grab a buddy, because trying to level these out and then fasten them at the same time is a challenge by yourself. With everything leveled out, I went ahead and cut the support post flush with the top of the boards and started stiffening them up in the ground. You don't necessarily have to use concrete whenever you do support posts like this. I always use inch minus rock. The only thing whenever you use it, you have to do it in layers. You have to pack in layers. After a while, it pretty much just turns into concrete, but it's not as permanent. Sadly, before I could get everything packed in, it started to rain. But I decided to use this time to start carving out the piece that would hold our seat in place. Ooh, that was nasty. Okay, so first we're going to turn this thing into something that's usable. Turning it into something usable meant giving it some flat dimensional edges. And after getting it into somewhat of a rectangle, I grabbed an old seat and marked out a rough, oversized template. I made it oversized so that most bike seats would fit. And with that as a guide, I started to carve out a bowl with my adze tool. If you've never carved wood, I highly recommend finding yourself an adze tool or a draw knife to give it a try. There's something really nice about hand carving things like this. It's time consuming, but it's also very satisfying. Let's check it real quick. Oh, like a freaking glove. It's like perfect. Since I knew the seat bowl was working properly, I went ahead and shaped the rest of it just to give it a fun look. Oh yeah, heck yeah. The next day, I quickly finished filling the support posts and got to work attaching the roller module to the deck. I dug a little trench for the roller to set in so it would be flush with the ground, and to attach it, I used the lag screws again to sandwich the roller between a board and the frame. Sweet. Oh, this is pretty cool right here. After grabbing some cedar boards and moving a snail out of harm's way, it was time to add the decking. These boards are all rough cut with random dimensions, so it took a bit of time to find a nice layout. But once we did, I decided to use nails to fasten them down simply because I think nails look nice with cedar. Okay, so I'm gonna wait to do these 4 middle ones because we need to dig a hole at the end there. So I'm gonna move them out of the way, dig our hole, put our post in, and then we can put them down. This board will be what the arm that holds the bike hangs from, so it needs to be pretty solid. Again, I set the post inside of the frame, fastened it with lag screws, and then packed it in. Once it was set, we could finish attaching our deck boards and move on. The main thing I had to make sure of was that the arm could fit most bikes. So it had to be long enough to hold the enduro bike or the slopestyle bike, but not so long that the bike would stick out over the front of the deck. Cool. Works great. I'm nervous to mess this up. Actually, I'm gonna put these in with an actual screwdriver just so I can be easy about it and listen to the wood in case it starts to crack. Pretty good. And then that's fine up there as well. Awesome. All right, I think it's gonna work pretty well. We'll go ahead and screw things in permanently, and then we'll get our springs on here that will hold this together and kind of put pressure on that seat. Okay. Nice. Looks good. Looks very good. All right. So what I want to do now is put a spring on both sides of this board so it has pressure going down on the seat so the bike stays where it's at. So what we'll do is we'll kind of put it up a little bit high. That way it's always got pressure, but it's not as big of a movement. So it'll have the same pressure almost all the way throughout. The more high it goes, the more pressure it'll have, and that's good because it'll be a bigger bike if it's higher. So that works out nicely for us. Now it's got nice tension on it. Oh yeah. There you go, cool. Yeah. Oh, wow, it really freaking works well. It doesn't want to go forward or back. Side to sides pretty well. This is awesome. Since the bike was holding in place, all we needed was a water supply and this project would be finished. So I made a small trench from our water spigot to the wash station and buried the hose. I also added this hose rack with a little storage compartment to hold things like chain cleaners and lubricants. Set cleaner, lubricant, more lubricant. There we go. With this all done, we need a dirty bike to make use of this thing. So I did a small trail build and did some riding. I've got a fun little mini build idea. I've had this nice little slabbed rock and I want to put it in on the lip so it's like a alternate little takeoff so you can really get some air on it, you know? Because you can take off on this lip pretty easy, but I'd like to give it the rock just so you can, even at slow speeds, it's easy to pop off of. This build turned out better than I could have ever imagined. The bike wash looked so good that Dana was even excited to wash her bike. Heck, the bike wash looked so good that I washed the bike wash. This was definitely more time consuming than just sticking up a board and hanging my bike from it, but I'm seriously so stoked on how this turned out. And hey, let me know in the comments if you think you might even try this method. Thank you for watching, and a huge thank you to my people on Patreon for the love and support. I appreciate you guys more than ever, and I'll see you all at the next build.